and welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. You know, we live in Florida, and this is like the hurricane capital of the world. And insurance companies are leaving us left and right, not wanting to insure house, floods, hurricanes. The scenario is to hedge your bets the best you can, and the way to do that, and I've said it a million times, is always use a professional. With me is Sean Bergen, owner of Sailfish Roofing.
That's correct.
Got it right?
You got it right.
I try to get it off the beginning so that I don't screw it up later.
Yeah, you're off to a good start.
Okay, so here's the story. It's got to be an interesting industry to work in Florida, because we are the hurricane capital of the country, surely. Why'd you get into it?
Man, that's a great question. The short answer, I would say, is God.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. I was a pastor for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And this is home. Grew up in Martin County and moved home to be closer to family, and a hurricane hit.
Go figure.
And so I needed a job. I went to work for a roofing company, and that's how it all began. I fell in love with it. I found it was a way for me to be in the community and to serve people. So,
you know, it's interesting because I've interviewed so many people. And like chiropractors got into it because they either had something happen to them. Okay, I was told by a psychologist, the reason that psychologists get into psychology is because they're crazy themselves. Okay, all right. So you get it. How long are you doing it?
So I've been in the roofing industry for 5 years.
Okay.
Yep. Been a roofing contractor now for about 1.5 years.
Okay, so things changing
Rapidly.
because of hurricanes and insurance companies?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. Hurricanes are a big part of it. Yeah.
Has it made your job more difficult because of what the insurance companies will require now?
I wouldn't say it makes it more difficult. No, the difficult part is staying on top of the ever-changing information, whether it be what the insurance companies are looking for or the codes that change.
Yeah, but because the codes are changing, like, I'm going to use my technical terms, which are not technical terms. Strapping down the roof has changed, correct? And I heard something like you used to be able to put like 2 nails in, and now you have to put 3 or 4 nails. I mean, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, which means, in my opinion, that it takes more time and it's a little more costly.
Yeah, well, the truth of the matter is, now that happens at the construction of the home, and the code had changed a good almost 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's just that it wasn't enforced on every home. It depended on the appraised value of the home. But insurance companies, it appears, has started to incentivize homes that weren't up to code, which basically it went from having 2 nails in a strap that went from roof to wall to 3 nails. And so now they're incentivizing you to get this 3rd nail, and then they're adding to that. So now you have wraps and you have clips. Those have always been the same, but now they've added double wraps. Well, now there's 2 straps that go over the truss from the wall, and you have to have 3 nails in each. So I think what's really changed is the insurance companies, from my perspective, are now incentivizing their insured by doing these upgrades.
Okay, but you put on a new roof. How long is it good for?
Depends on what you put on. If it's a shingle roof, for example, shingle roofs should get 20 years in Florida. The average, according to the Florida Building Department, is 15 years.
And insurance companies now?
Insurance companies are talking about insuring them at 12 years.
Okay, so that's a shingle roof.
So that changes a lot.
What about a metal roof?
Metal roofs have known to get 30 to 50 years. I've been a part of a roofing company that replaced 2 5V crimp roofs that were 70 years old. They were put on in the 50s.
Wow.
However, insurance companies, I believe, are talking about only insuring them for 25 years.
But that's a nice amount of time.
Yeah.
What do you think about a metal roof?
I think they're great. I think you're gonna get more value because you're gonna get twice as long of the life, and you're not paying twice as much, at least for now, with the ever-changing pricing. But there was a time just a few years ago where shingles and metal were about the same price, very close, and that may come back in some time. But There's evidence that they help on energy efficiency. There's a study done by one of the major universities that it decreases your energy efficiency by 20%.
Because of the reflection of the heat out?
Yeah, I don't
We're
know.
in Florida, so that would be heated.
That seems to be logical. There's probably other reasons, but that's one.
When I think about a metal roof, and you think about the pros and the cons, the only con that I see is that when it rains hard, you're going to probably hear it. Yes? No?
I have never heard a single person speak it's a different sound, obviously. But by and large, people actually speak well of that sound.
Really?
I grew up in an old house with shutters, the aluminum shutters that fold in and out.
Right.
I loved to hear the rain against those shutters, yeah.
You know, it's interesting because they talk about hurricanes and this and that, and then you go through some towns, and the houses are made of popsicle sticks, okay, and they've been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Because the quality was better, in my opinion. And though they weren't hurricane rated, the facts are going to be the facts, in my opinion, is depending on how the hurricane hits and where it hits, is going to affect what you have and how much it's going to be able to deal with. Am I right?
That's true.
You know, we as non-roofers and just generic people, there was a time where we put tape on our windows.
That's true. Which
now is the most ridiculous thing in the world to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to someone's house and say, hey, you need a new roof, do you recommend a metal roof or a shingle roof or a tile roof? I mean, what do you recommend?
I don't, especially because of if the prices were comparable as they were a few years ago between the different products, I would probably do that. Shingles are a very good system, so they're more expensive. I mean, they're less expensive, but I'm just honest about that. I have a shingle roof on my house.
Are they easy to put? They must be easier to put up, right?
Very happy to do that. It is easier to do, yeah. But they're a good product, and I wouldn't be afraid to put them on. The one thing about metal that I tell people that's, to me, a selling advantage is when people put hurricane windows on their house. There is an ease that it brings during hurricane season when you don't have to worry about the stress of a storm coming and having to shutter up. When you have a metal roof on and a hurricane is coming, there is a sense of relief to know that there are not going to be shingles blown off your roof when this thing passes. And so that's one less thing you have to worry about to take care of your property.
You know, we as lay people don't always understand the ins and outs of products. And that's why I so stress, use a professional. If you don't use a professional, it's going to cost you 5 times more and 10 times more aggravation. I have a mobile home that has a shingle roof. It's been repaired probably 3,000 times. And in the beginning, because I wasn't really living up here and it's rented out, I would get a handyman to go up there and fix the shingles. That's why it was fixed 3,000 times, because it was probably never done properly. One of the problems I had with a shingle roof is that the animals would chew through the shingles. Is that something you've heard of?
I've never heard of that. I have heard on a cedar shake roof. I've seen holes in the roof where squirrels have chewed through it, but not on a shingle roof.
Yeah. How about a tile roof? More expensive?
Concrete tile is more expensive, yes.
Does it last longer? Is it a stronger type of roof?
It really doesn't. It certainly doesn't last longer than metal. A little bit longer in theory than shingles. With tile roofs, what a lot of people don't understand is that the integrity of that roof is the underlayment, because the concrete tile is not a water barrier. So the concrete tile is basically protecting the underlayment from the effects of the UV rays that deteriorate it and make it brittle, the underlayment. And so it's an aesthetic value, and it keeps the sun off your underlayment. The value of that roof is based on the quality of that underlayment and its installation.
Do you do a lot of roof repairs or more new roofs?
No, we do. We do a lot of roof repairs, actually, and find that it's a great way to serve our community. Some people can't replace their roofs.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. So
okay, and I know you're in the industry, but let's be honest here. is the expense of a new roof, and I want to see how to word this, is putting on a new roof overpriced compared to the work and the materials needed?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no. In fact, it's interesting. A lot of people have opinions about the insurance portion of this industry, and there's obviously good and bad going on in that, which has caused our current condition with insurance. But insurance companies do a study throughout the country, and they have something called Xactimate that tells you what a roof actually costs. Roofers now have that software too, so that everybody's on equal footing. And it's just a proven fact that insurance companies, when held to that standard and are accountable, will pay more for the roof than in the retail market. So a lot of your contractors who are competing against each other here are actually doing roofs at a discount, even though it feels like they're quite expensive.
Pricing out a roof, besides the material that you use, is on the size of the roof?
It's on the size of the roof, correct.
Okay, so do you charge more if it's a steep pitch?
You do, yeah.
If it's a two-story?
If it's two-story, you do, yep.
So I guess the simplest would be like my mobile home would be a simple roof change.
It would.
Okay. Someone comes to you and says, hey, I got a leak in my dining room. And you go and you look at the roof, it's a shingled roof. Do you always recommend to change it? And let's say the roof is 10 years old. Do you always suggest doing a whole new roof?
No, not at 10 years old. There's a time where when you've done this long enough, you realize that somewhere around 12 years, sometimes longer, depending on the quality of the shingle, it will become brittle. And so it loses its flexibility. And to remove broken shingles or to replace a leak in a certain area where you have to remove shingles, if those shingles lose their flexibility, you'll break good shingles because they're stacked on top of each other to remove the ones you have to, which becomes sort of a problem because you begin to chase.
It's like a domino
leaks.
effect.
Yeah, that's right. So there comes a point where it gets risky to do a repair on a shingle roof that's aging. And so you just have to know, have integrity and know what's best for that customer. But I try to look at people the way I look at myself. I don't always have the money to replace everything in my home.
My world.
And so I try to give them the advice I would do. And it can be somewhat tricky because if you constantly turn to a repair and it continues to return, then you could end up spending way more money trying to repair something and then finally replacing your roof and wishing you had that money back so it could go to your new roof.
So really when you're doing a repair, it's almost like an estimate. It's not a finalized thing because you don't know what you're going to end up with when you pull that tiles up.
That's true.
Okay, and I know that I'm going to guess that the roof is wood. And then there's another coating put on there, whatever that is, and then the roof, then the tiles. You don't know when you get up there if you're going to be in there have to replace the wood, if there's any rot. So you really have open-ended when it really comes to that.
Yeah, you do a lot of things to try to eliminate stuff, and you get to the point where you know somewhat a range of what to expect, so that you could give the customer good advice on how to move forward. But yeah, you open up that roof. There's times you don't know what you're going to discover.
Right, and I mean I get that, and I still see blue tarps. Okay, and we haven't really had a hurricane, knock wood, forever. Yeah, this is wood. What you're looking at underneath that is wood.
Yeah, right.
The technology today is amazing. Who's your clientele?
Well, anybody that owns a home, really.
That's everybody.
Everybody.
Well, not everybody owns a home, but every homeowner.
That's right. Correct. That's correct.
So, is there a roof that you prefer to do? Do you prefer to do shingle, tile, metal? What do you prefer to do?
I have. It goes in stages for me because if I find myself doing a lot of the same roof, I personally get kind of tired of it, and then I find something new. So there was a time I enjoyed tile roofs, and we did a lot of them after the hurricane. And then metal was something I enjoyed, and then you kind of get tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. But metal and shingle roofs, they're fun. I think they look good when they're done, and so those are Those are my favorite.
Can't you just coat a roof and be done with it, like with some sort of silicone or something like that? Like,
You can. There are good quality material. It's all down to the material that you're using. However, it's not always a very pleasant sight. So, yeah, you got to worry about your neighbors when you're coating a pitched roof.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
How do people find you? You have a website?
I do. You can go to our website. It's www.sailfishroofing.com. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Sailfish Roofing. We have an Instagram page, and then our phone number is 263-7663, and that's area code 772.
When I was in Boca, I dealt with some roofers, and I was one of the first. Well, I wasn't the first in this whole industry, but I was one of the first to buy a drone. And they would call me to drone the roof, and I came up with an idea. What I decided to do, and we did it for a while, was you own a house. I come to your house prior to hurricane season, and I drone your house and the roof. I give you the video. After the year, I drone it again. So you contract with me, and if something happens, you don't have this whole to-do. You have these videos that are time-stamped with what the roof looked like and what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it's clever. Very good idea.
So we did that for a while, but I didn't have as many helpers as I have now, and many workers, many team people. So, but yeah, that was an idea, and I'm always looking for, like you, how I can help other people. We do a lot of charity work, of course, because when I started, nobody helped me. And I said, if this ever becomes successful, because what I got was, get a real job, don't be stupid, it's a pipe dream. And I said, if I become successful, I'll help others. Because being an entrepreneur, you have to be a little crazy. Okay?
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't care how long you have a business, it's like this. Even great businesses have tough time. Like this month is going to be a little tougher for us because I was off for a week, and now my mom passed away, so now I'm going to take another week off. So at least 2 to 3 weeks of this month, I really haven't worked. So you have to be ready to just deal with a bad week, a bad day, even a bad month.
Yeah.
And I've learned, I used to be so upset if I had a bad day. Now it's like, yeah, whatever. I'll make it up. And when you're your own boss, and it was a small company, if I didn't have enough money at the end of the month, by the last week of the month, it was, all right, Wayne, you're working 24 hours a day, so you'd be able to pay your bills. As an entrepreneur, we make like $1.80 an hour. People don't understand what we have to go through. Insurance, help, electric, material. They just don't understand. But there's something about wanting to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
okay?
That's true.
There is just something about it. All right.
That's true.
What's the phone number again?
772-263-7663.
And the website?
www.sailfishroofing.com.
Everybody, use a professional. Don't make me come out there and beat you. You need to use a professional. Trust me, it doesn't cost. It actually costs less, but where the real value is in the aggravation that you will save. Everybody have a great day, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.